Hi gang, Mark Lark here coming from Surprise, Arizona, and as far as I know, the only streamer here in Arizona. And please excuse me, I'm keeping my voice down a little bit because the Nintendo Switch conference just ended. So what I'm going to do real quickly is I took some notes here. We're going to go through everything that they talked about, and during that time I'm going to give my opinion about the Switch, which has dramatically changed, actually. So the first thing they spoke about was the release, which is March 3rd of this year, and it's going to be $300. Not a bad price. People were speculating 250, but 300 seems to be the right price for the Nintendo Switch. The other thing they talk about is a online service that they're going to be doing. It looks like it hooks up to a smart device. I don't know if that's hooking up to your phone or whatever that is. They were kind of vague about that, and it looks like they're going to a price point similar to PlayStation and Xbox. It looks like it's going to be free when it first launched, and in the fall is when it's going to go to a paid service. This is a great opportunity for them to do what PlayStation and Xbox does: give us free games, give us awesome old games, give us Mario, give us all the Marios every month, give us some incentive for this paid service. Next thing they mentioned was no region lock, which is actually pretty cool. I like that they are doing that and just completely opening up their system so you can play any game anywhere. Next thing they talked about was the three different ways you can play the Switch. So the first way is going to be on the TV. You put the device in the docking station, it hooks up to your TV through HDMI, and you play like that. You can either play with the controller that they have or the Pro controller that's going to be sold separately. The next way you play is, they mentioned the tabletop mode. Basically, this is when you you take the Switch out of the dock and you put it on the table, and there's a little kickstand similar to my phone here. Yeah. It has a little kickstand and it just sits on your table, and you can play like that, again, either with a controller or you pull the Joy-Cons out and you play with those. The last way is the handheld mode, and that is when you completely take it out and you put the Joy-Con controllers to the actual screen, which is going to be the coolest feature about this system. And so at that point it becomes similar to a Vita or a yeah, actually, the Vita is probably the best analogy that it's going to be with. So, and that you can take on the go, obviously. Next thing they spoke about, which was very important, was the battery life. So they mentioned it's a 2.5 to 6 hour battery life, depending on what game you're playing, and you can charge it while you're playing, which is awesome. And it looks like it's just a USB charge. Looks like it is going to be you can put it to Wi-Fi similar to the 3DS and every other handheld thing that we have, and it looks like there's going to be up to 8 controllers that are controller sets that can hook up to I don't think it's one a Nintendo Switch. I think you can hook 8 up to each other. So you can do like a Mario Kart game with everyone, or theoretically Super Smash Bros., but they didn't even mention that game. Next, they went into some great detail about the Joy-Cons, and those are the controllers that they're going to be using. Now, these things, he was holding it up there. These things are tiny. They like fit probably in the palm of my hand. I would say even smaller than my phone. Good analogy would probably be about my wallet here, about yay size of where Beavis starts. That's about where the controllers are. They are really tiny, and it looks kind of uncomfortable to hold, to tell you the truth. So I guess there's some new technology in there. You get a left one and a right one. They come in different colors. Looks like they have gyro sensors in there, so you can sit there and do this or there, and we'll get to that game in just a second. But also, it looks like if you're holding it horizontally, there's L and R buttons. So you have your analog stick here, you have 2 buttons here, and then you have your L and R here. So again, it's about that big, man. That just seems way too small for, if you're gonna end up playing like this. Again, they have two different colors. They just have the gray ones, but then they have neon red and blue. There's a strap that goes similar to the Wii strap, so it's not flying around if you're flinging around stuff like that. I guess in the right one, there's a RI camera, so they were saying it can tell how far away things are from the sensor, and they were talking about you can throw, paper, rock, scissors, and stuff like that. And then the left one, they called it HD rumble. So basically, they showed like if you shake it around, you can tell how many ice cubes are in the cup. One, two, and then if the cup is filled with water. Next thing they talked about, which besides with the battery life, is the other important thing, is the games. There's not really any games at launch. I mean, they dropped the royal ball here, so let's just quickly go through this and then I'm going to get to all my complaints a little bit later. So the first game they brought out was 1-2 Switch. So it looks like this is going to be a party game where you're actually not looking at the screen, but you're looking at the other person. The thing that they had on display was like a Western quick draw. So you're looking at the other person and that you probably feel the rumble in your hand, and that's when you pull and go to shoot. It looks kind of cool. Looks like there's tennis, and they showed people. It was weird. They didn't show any gameplay really, and I don't know if there's actual gameplay besides doing this or something like that. But they didn't really show what it was. They talked about it, and it looks kind of cool. But let's face it, it's no Wii Sports. The next thing they talked about was while going through the conference, looked like the only launch game and the only game that was going to be available for the system at launch. Luckily, at the end, they kind of fixed that, but this one was called ARMS. So basically, it's kind of like an arcade boxing game where your arms extend and you use the two controllers. And when I guess you can move around like this in a circular pattern, it looks like you can move forward like this or back. And then when you punch, the your arms in the game are springs, so it kind of boing, boing, while the other person's trying to hit you too. Um, I guess looks cool, looks kind of fun. You can block, you can jump around, you can do this, you can do that. But for their launch title, I I guess it's fine. They need to show off the technology. That's going to be the biggest thing that they're trying to do. So I can appreciate that. But again, until the end of the conference, this was looking like the only game that was literally going to be available for this system. Next thing, they showed a trailer for Splatoon 2. Unfortunately, that's not coming till the summer. Looks kind of cool. Never played the first one. There are some diehard fans with that game, but would have been great if it was a launch title. The next one was a big dog, and that is Super Mario Odyssey. This looks pretty cool. Looks like a big sandbox 3D Mario game. You're in New York or like an actual city interacting with live people, which at first they kind of showed that at the front of the trailer, and I thought that's all it was going to be. But then they showed him in very unique, different worlds, and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. Unfortunately, again, winter 2017. We move on to another game that's Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Again, we have no clue when that's coming out. The next game, Fire Emblem Warriors, which they didn't even show the English title for, so half of us were sitting, well, probably more than half were sitting here like, what game is this? They didn't even show anything. Again, we don't know when that's coming. Then they jumped into the third party games or partners. I really don't know what they were doing. Anyway, they claim they have 50 companies working, and they did a little flash on the screen showing all the companies that are working, and currently there's 80 games in development. The first games they showcased there were Dragon Quest X and 11, and then it looks like Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2 is coming out as well. The next one they showed was actually kind of a cool old school 18-16-bit RPG with the ridiculous name Octopath Traveler. Then they went over, they showed kind of a cool trailer. Again, we have no idea what it was because it was in Japanese, but apparently it was Shinigami Tensei. I guess it's like the 10th year anniversary. Again, we don't know when that's coming. Um, then Todd Howard came on and talked about, yes, Skyrim is coming to the Nintendo Switch, which is great. Next, they showed some guy came out and just was talking about Travis Touchdown, and that game's going to be coming out. There's no title for it. I highly doubt they even started development on it. They just showed a picture of Travis Touchdown and said he's coming back. Last third party partner that they showed was EA, and it looks like they're going to be bringing FIFA to the Nintendo Switch. That's a huge game across the world. That is a big get for Nintendo, but not sure when it's going to be coming out, and again, not even sure if it's going to be comfortable playing on. I mean, the controllers inside of the little handheld thing that they have, it's about yay big, not very big at all, guys. Then they had a sizzle reel of showing some of the games that are becoming to the Nintendo Switch. Looks like Rayman's going to be coming. A Lego game, Sonic was shown. A Street Fighter, looks like Street Fighter 2 was shown. Minecraft, Mario Kart 8. They actually showed that a lot when they were giving the presentation. And for my brother, yes, NBA 2K18 is going to be coming to the Switch. All those games have no clue when they're going to be coming out. So the last thing they kind of went into was what kind of models are going to be coming out for the Nintendo Switch. And this is something that they actually did right. It looks like every Nintendo Switch that is launching on March 3rd is going to be the same cost, but it looks like there's going to be some different stuff going on with that. Everything that's coming with the Nintendo Switch is your console, your left and right Joy-Con, the wrist wraps, the grip, that's the thing that you put in when you're playing at home. The dock, that's what you're, again, putting the actual system in when you're playing at home. HDMI cable, AC adapter, and the Pro controller is going to be sold separately. It looks like the two variations for the consoles at launch is just going to be the Joy-Cons. You can either get them in all gray or you can get them in the neon blue and red. Next, they went to a couple of people around the world with Nintendo. The first guy they went to was in Europe, and they didn't really talk about anything. They just, oh, thank you for waking up early, Europe. And then they went to America, where Reggie was, and the creator of Nintendo, and I'm blanking my name. It's kind of late here. Shigeru Miyamoto. There you go. Miyamoto. I knew that. Anyway, he's just talking about, oh yeah, it's a great system, kind of what Reggie does, which I gotta admit he's pretty good at it. And then in the background, Miyamoto's playing Zelda Breath of the Wild. So now that's the big question: when is that game coming out? And they showed a really cool trailer, and honestly, the Zelda looks freaking awesome. It looks great, and luckily, it is coming out launch day, March 3rd, 2017. Now, will it be delayed in that time? Who knows? If I was a betting man, I would say yes, it is absolutely going to be delayed. But if it does, that means there's only going to be, as far as we know, and as far as what they showed us in this conference, there's going to be one game at launch. And that is the biggest problem with this conference. There's no launch games. They talked about games coming down the pipeline, which look decent, I guess. But other than that, one game guaranteed, as far as we know, ARMS. That's the only game that they mentioned March 3rd, 2017, except for Zelda, which is a big deal. That you got to have a marquee title when this system launches. But again, that could be delayed, and if Zelda is delayed, this system is dead in the water. This system cannot survive on one game, new property called ARMS, as cool or lame, whatever you think it looks like. Reggie was kind of going through his speech, and he said something like, "Oh, we're gonna have the Nintendo Switch out there so you can try it before you buy it, and you got to come early because there's gonna be a long line, and the games that everyone wants to play, and man, what games?" And that is the exact question I'm asking. What games? There's no games. We got Splatoon 2 in the summer. We got Mario into the winter, and Zelda at launch, and ARMS. You got four games that we know about right now. I don't know what I don't know what they're thinking. So after the conference, my opinion on the Nintendo Switch, well, I'm gonna take that off. Man, I was all ready to pre-order it. I was gonna pre-order it for my brother, but no, Nintendo. I'm sorry, guys. This might be your last straw, man. In a few years, we may be seeing Mario and Donkey Kong and Zelda on the PlayStation and Xbox systems, but man, terrible conference. Guys, I have no faith in the Nintendo Switch. My Wii U is going to get one last hurrah with Zelda Breath of the Wild because that's what I'm going to play it on. You showed me nothing and no reason to buy the Nintendo Switch. And guys, I was so jazzed. This was all I was thinking about today. And I was so ready to be pumped for this system. You dropped the ball, guys. Which sucks. I mean, Nintendo is such a great company and they've produced some of the greatest games. They saved video games at one time, and ever since, they've just been kind of going downhill. I mean, some of the games I've played on Nintendo were some of the most fun, but guys, those are the games, and you showed me zero games. You showed me four games that we know that are coming. Everything else, it hey, here it comes. Here it comes. We promised this game, but you guys didn't give us anything at the beginning. Now, sure, they can announce things. It's about what two a month and a half away or something like that. March 3rd. Guys, that is right around the corner, and you have no games. You have two games at launch. What system does that? Honestly, Nintendo, if you guys want to bounce back from this awful conference, give us some type of emulator on the system. Hey, you get a Nintendo Switch, and every first party NES, Super NES, N64 game is going to be free on the console. I buy, well, actually, I probably wouldn't buy that in a heartbeat. I do have another console that has all that stuff, but guys, you need to do something. This system is dead in the water, and it's gonna go the way of Wii U. Honestly, I think it's gonna be worse than Wii U. Wii U actually had games. You guys have nothing. Yes, you have Zelda, but guess what? Most of us are probably gonna play it on the Wii U if we have that, because come March 3rd, Zelda Breath of the Wild and ARMS. That's all I'm saying. Hate to be very negative about this, but I'm just giving you my honest opinion, guys. I hope you have a wonderful night. I hope you enjoyed something about the conference. Please leave your comments in the below, or in below down there. Are you getting a Nintendo Switch? Please tell me why, because right now, zero reason to get it. Thanks, guys. You have yourself a blessed evening.